I want to bring in now Hugh Hewitt. He'll be one of the questioners at tomorrow night's CNN GOP debate in Houston. Hello, Mr. Hewitt. Listen, I know you asked Donald Trump about his taxes as well. I'm great. You've spoken to him about his taxes as well. How big of an issue is this for him? Why not release them?
Well, I do believe that it's the easiest thing in the world to take last year's tax returns and dump them out. 2014 are finished. They're in the box. Just throw them out there. Let's see what's in them. Get over it. I've always been a big believer of putting out whatever bad news there is. If there's bad news in it, to put it out early. There's an old adage in politics, hang a lantern in your program. If he was, as Governor Romney suggested, parsimonious in his charitable giving, if he had a complicated tax structure, it'll be a one-day story, but it becomes a much longer story the longer that you do delay. And he did tell me this week that he hadn't done it yet, but that he would get around to it. I also asked Ted Cruz this week if he'd release his tax returns, and he hadn't. John Kasich hasn't released his tax returns. It typically does come down to the front runner has to lead the way on tax returns. So I suspect that he will do it. Pressure will grow, and I think a lot of Republicans will say, let's get him out before we get to Super Tuesday 2, March 15th, to make sure there aren't any surprises.
So do you think there's any there to these Mitt Romney allegations? The reason he hasn't done it is because there's some sort of bombshell. I mean, why not do it? Do you think there's something there?
Well, a bombshell could be any number of things. It might be charitable giving, not at a level one would be consistent with billions of dollars. It might be with overseas tax situations such as Mitt Romney had, Grand Cayman accounts. It could be with anything that provides a grip on which to launch an attack. And a bombshell, no, I think Donald Trump has the best accountants in the world. He's got one of the best companies in the world. He's got one of the best accounting staffs in the world. So you're not going to find any misdoing there. You're just going to find a lot of money, and a lot of people's eyes are going to roll back in their heads because tax returns can be complicated. That said, if you're going to run for public office, it's part of the gauntlet in recent years to put them out there. I'll also say, though, I think John Kasich and Ted Cruz have to put them out there because it's not enough to blunt the Trump momentum, which is built. Now, that was a big win for him last night. He's coming off of 3 in a row. History tells us no one has ever been stopped who's won 3 in a row. Of course, history has changed. We've gone through a different lens. We're in Alice in the Wonder Hole when it comes to politics 2016, reality politics, not normal politics. Nevertheless, I'd play it straight, put out 2014, get past it, and move on.
So he is riding, Hugh, a high as a clear front runner. And, you talked about last night. That was a big win. But there's a huge debate tomorrow night right here on CNN. Can anything happen there? Yeah, maybe you have a crystal ball. I don't know. That could derail him.
I got a note today from a staffer on one of the campaigns who said, expect the Red Wedding, which is a reference to the Game of Thrones episode where everyone basically got killed. Now, I tend to be Davos Seaworth in these things and stay away from the nightmares and survive all these things. But it could be genuinely the toughest debate we've seen thus far. I expect the audience to be enormous. The stakes are that high. I know I saw the set today during rehearsal that Donald Trump stands in the middle. On his left is Ted Cruz. On his right is Marco Rubio. Both of them have got to shoot to politically wound, if not kill him. At the same time, John Kasich is playing happy ball. Ben Carson is playing a very, very long game and an interesting game. So it will be fascinating. And the amount of preparation that went into it today, Wolf Blitzer, of course, the consummate pro at this, Dana Vash and Maria, terrific people to work with. We've got great questions. It gets underway tomorrow night. It's going to be a terrific debate. I know you'll be doing the post-game show, but I expect it to be the most interesting debate that we have seen in the 2015-2016 cycle to date.
And don't forget, you'll be there as well. But I want to talk about Trump looking ahead. This is what he said today about his possible VP pick. You look.
I do want somebody that's political because I want to get lots of great legislation that we all want passed. It's just sitting there for years and years and years. We have things sitting there that would be so good, including proper health care and other things. So we're gonna probably choose somebody that's somewhat political.
Okay, so an outsider who wants an insider. Explain that.
Well, let me be very Sherman-esque. If asked, I shall not accept. If nominated, I shall not run. That reduces the role by 1. I think he is going to look for someone who has a gubernatorial experience, someone who has a lot of political experience, someone like John Kasich, if he is willing to do it, someone like Chris Christie, who is willing to do it, someone like Scott Walker, if he is willing to do it, someone like Governor Nikki Haley, if she is willing to do it. A governor would be a great match with Donald Trump, who has spent most of his time banging on Washington. I don't think a senator matches up with him very well. Not another business person, as he said, but someone who's been a genuine, successful reformer and has not got any of his immigration issues. He can't ask Arnold. Arnold could succeed him on Celebrity Apprentice, but he can't be his vice presidential nomination because that is one person we know genuinely is disqualified from running for president.
I like the way you put that. Hey, Nikki Haley certainly is an interesting choice, a woman and a governor, so that would be very interesting. And she endorsed Rubio, but still, you know, if Trump is a nominee, maybe she'll come over.
Oh, it doesn't matter. After you get a nominee, everyone who's been in the hunt, you know, George Bush, Herbert Walker Bush banged away at Ronald Reagan for a 7-month campaign in 1980. Came down to figuring out who was going to be the vice president after Jerry Ford said no, he didn't want to be co-president. Ronald Reagan turned to the guy he'd been in a knife fight in a phone booth with for 5 months, and he picked George H.W. Bush. So what happened before doesn't matter come Cleveland in July, especially after the Cavs win the ring.
All right. Thank you, Hugh. A lot of people are having fun where you are. Appreciate it. We can hear them over your microphone.
The Houston people, they're upset with me because I said go Navy beat Houston. They're very upset.
Oh, that's it. Thank you, Hugh. See you soon. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you, Don. Be well.